What's up, people? It's your man Urban Lover coming from your mama's basement, baby. And today I want to talk about an article that I looked at not too long ago. So I was searching the web, and I ran to this article from Lakers Nation. And this article was basically talking about Jordan Clarkson. It was basically saying, like, you know, who's going to be the backup to Jordan Clarkson. And as I read down the article, and I noticed in that article it had a statement. And I just want to hit this statement alone, not really the article, because the article had a lot of good facts, a lot of good points. And actually, it was written by Hannah Kulik. I actually follow her on Twitter, and I actually follow on YouTube as well. She's a writer for the Lakers Nation. She just started writing, so kudos to her. I don't want to beat her down and nothing like that, because I'm not here to do that. Because at the end of the day, we're all Laker family, and we just want the best for our team. I'm just giving my honest opinion. And anybody can chime in, and if you agree or disagree, that's totally understandable. There's no wrong opinion here, but I just want to make sure that I clarify the way I feel according to my opinion. So in the statement it said, the truth is Clarkson is undersized to play the position at 6'5". So not so much is she focusing on the weight, she's focusing actually on the height. So I've been watching NBA since the 80s, and since the 80s, back in that days, the average guard during them times was like anywhere from 6'2" to 6'5" during that time. And you had a lot of small guards that would actually play bigger guards. And one thing I always say at the end of the day is it's not so much the height, it's really about the heart, the determination, and the willingness to go beyond and above the expectations of that player based on that size. Now, Lou Williams, I already said Lou Williams personally to me at 6'1" is too small in today's NBA era, because like back, he would have been good as a 2 back in the 80s, you know, because there was a lot of guards of like 6'4", 6'3". You only had people like Michael Jordan, Rolando Blackman, Reggie Miller, you know, and so forth and so forth. It wasn't many, but it was like probably like a small group of like 6 or 7, you know. Early 90s, you had later on down the line, you have Tracy McGrady and other players. But back in them days, it was more convenient for smaller guards. But now we live in an era where, you know, you got bigger guards, but there's not so many big guards. And the reason why I say that, because if you look at it, during the 80s and 90s, and these guys I'm basically naming, these guys actually played guards that were bigger than them, and they played pretty good. Which, you know, you had Byron Scott at 6'3", you had Joe Dumars at 6'3", you had Jeff Hornacek at 6'4", Vernon Maxwell at 6'4", Hershey Hawkins at 6'3", Ricky Pierce at 6'4", John Starks at 6'3", and on and on. And most of these guys I named play a major impact on their team. They either help their team get to the finals, win a championship, or constantly been like in the playoffs. You know, constantly being that one team that make the playoff. And these guys, these particular guards I named, had to play somebody known as the best player on the planet, as so many fans call him, Michael Jordan. Now keep in mind, these guys I named are way shorter than Jordan. Remember, Jordan was 6'6". Like 215, something like that. A lot of these guys, man, like Byron Scott was 6'3". Now, even though during the finals, Magic mostly played Jordan, but keep in mind, Magic was 6'8", as they list him at 6'9", and Jordan was 6'6". But you know, him and Jordan went toe to toe. You know, sometimes it's not always about height. It's about, you know, how you utilize your skill set. So Jordan against Magic actually outplayed Magic. You know, I hate to say it, but you know, I'm a Magic fan. I love Magic, but like I told you, during that time in the finals, I cried. You know, they just couldn't do nothing with Jordan. They had Byron on him. They had, you know, different players playing him, but they just couldn't do nothing with him. And keep in mind, Jordan, like I said, he was shorter than Magic, but he was quicker than Magic. You had Byron Scott playing him. You had, think about it, you had the bad boys at the time. Joe Dumars playing Jordan head up. Joe Dumars 6'3", so he's giving out 3 inches to Michael, but he played good defense on Mike. Mitch Richmond, he's 6'5". He was an inch shorter than Jordan, but he played good defense on Jordan as well. You know, there's a quote where Jordan came out and said that Mitch Richmond was one of the better defenders that defend him. Then you had Jeff Hornacek. You know, they met Chicago in you know, in the finals twice. He didn't really contain Mike, so I don't want everybody to think he contained Mike. But the end of the day is he played Mike, and they played pretty good against him. You know, you had, you know, and I can go on and on. Like I said, Ricky Pierce, you know, John Stark. I mean, if y'all actually follow John Stark back in the day, John Stark, you know, played pretty good, you know, good against, you know, Jordan and all them. You know, he was real good, scrappy defender. You know, very dirty defender, but he was scrappy. And I like John Stark. The only thing about John Stark that he was a real streaky player. You know, when he's on, but when he's not, he can kill a team. Just ask New York when they played Houston back in the days in that final. I think Derek Harper should have been the one that took them shots, but hey, Pat Riley, you didn't get that one that time, my friend. But anyway, like I said, the thing is, what I'm trying to say is at the end of the day is this. 6'5", they got him listed, well, he's 6'4", but they got him listed at 6'5". Now, 6'5", actually, to be honest with you, is a pretty decent height at the shooting guard position. One thing about it at the end of the day is, a lot of people say that he's small, he's undersized, but what y'all fail to realize, who can actually contain him on defense? Because at the end of the day, if you watch Jordan Clarkson games, Jordan Clarkson can blow past a lot of these defenders that he play against. I mean, if you watch his games, don't just say, oh, well, Jordan Clarkson can't blow past this person. I've seen that. No, brother. I've been watching his games, like I said, when he came to LA, because I tune into LA games most every time they're on. And I'm sitting up 2 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast watching these games. Even though they were getting blown out, I would still watch these games because I wanted to see, what player is going to come out the fire and be productive for the team going forward. And Jordan Clarkson, like I said, after the All-Star break, when he started starting and all that, started getting the minutes, you could see potential in this guy. So I don't really say that 6'5" is a bad height, because it's not. If anything, I'll say weight-wise. You want to put on a little bit more weight. Because I think at the time he was listed at 180-something. Now he's listed at 190-something. But also keep in mind he's been working out, strength and conditioning. He's been getting a little bit bigger. If you look at his body mass now, his muscle is starting to deform a little bit more. So he's picking up weight. But you don't want him to be too overweight, because sometimes when you overweight, you lose that agility that actually help your game. You just want to pick up a little bit strength, but not so much. So he's not really a bad size. And also on top of that, another thing, too, I want to keep in mind, he might play against Klay Thompson, PG-13 if they move him to the shooting guards from time to time, but that's where, base it according to matches. You know what I mean? Okay, well, if I can't put Jordan Clarkson, if I bring in Anthony Brown or even Nick Young, you can match up stuff like that. So it's not so bad, and I think Jordan Clarkson actually is a good size for his position. And also keep in mind, he's going to be playing players like Klay Thompson, probably PG-13 once in a while, and other players, Jimmy Butler. But what I did is I went to a website and I looked at NBARankings.com. And what I did is I looked at the best shooting guards as of last year. And according to them, the top 8 shooting guards, and y'all gonna be really shocked about this. And not really shocked, but I'm gonna just share something with you. So in that number 8, you have Victor Oladipo. He's 6'4". At number 7, you had C.J. McCollum. He's 6'4". At number 6, you had Dwyane Wade. He's 6'4". At number 5, you have Jimmy Butler. He's 6'7", but like I said, now that the Wade is now with Chicago, most likely he's going to be moved to the small forward position, so you're going to kind of wipe him out of there. So now at number 4, we have Andrew Wiggins, who's 6'8". Then at number 3, who we have at number 3? We had DeMar DeRozan. He's 6'7". At number 2, we have James Harden. He's 6'5". And then at number 1, we had Klay Thompson, which you already know is 6'7". Now, in that 8, you notice in that 8, there was a lot of 6'4s in there. Jordan Clarkson matched up pretty good in that pile. One thing about it at the end of the day is that we continue to look at last year and use last year as a way of saying that this is what the Lakers going to look like. Keep in mind, we're dealing with a whole new different offense, a whole new different coach. The guys are more excited than what they were last year. Last year, they weren't excited about the game. Matter of fact, like I said before, when they lost one game and got blown out, 3 of the guys were walking together, and they were laughing about it. And that's when Kobe went off in one of the meetings, about that, saying that, you guys take this for a game. This is serious. But that was the only time Kobe really spoke out. And at the end of the day, it's like, and I don't, like I said, I don't want to keep dwelling on the past, because one thing I tell everybody at the end of the day is that we should start evaluating these guys as of this season coming up. It's a fresh season. There's no Kobe Bryant. There's no Byron Scott. There's no excuses at all. There's no distractions. So when I talk to people, they keep talking about the previous season that just passed or any other season before that, I kind of tune that out, because at the end of the day, we're not giving these guys an opportunity or a chance. We're quick to say, well, based on this or that outcome or the previous year or something like that to that extent. we quick to say that because of those situations last year, this is what it's going to look like this year. It's the same thing with ESPN ranking us dead last, and win percentage, because they're basing it off the previous year. They're not looking at this year. They're not looking at the fact that when Steve Kerr was out last year, that Luke Walton took a team and won almost 75% of the games before Steve Kerr came back. And I believe that if Luke Walton was actually coaching them, Golden State probably would have beat Cleveland, because one thing about Luke Walton is that he understands matchup. Why? Because like I said before, he played under Phil Jackson. He was coached under Phil Jackson. He set by Phil Jackson. He learned from Phil Jackson, and he learned from Steve Kerr. So he got the opportunity to learn from two coaches, where both coaches, Steve Kerr and Luke Walton, learned underneath of Phil Jackson. So Luke Walton, to me, is going to probably come out better. Why? Because he had the opportunity to learn in two different traits. He got to learn Phil Jackson triangle offense, and he got to learn Steve Kerr's triangle offense with motion offense as well, mixed in with triangle offense. So now he's going to use triangle offense, motion offense with pick and roll mixed into it as well, because he said he's going to utilize D'Angelo Russell on a lot of pick and rolls. So one thing I want to say at the end of the day is this, all I can say about Jordan Clarkson is, eventually he's going to get a little bit big. I don't want him to get too big because I don't want to be slow and lose his agility. But we got to stop sleeping on Jordan Clarkson. Like I said at the end of the day, everybody played behind Kobe. And Kobe took like 75% of the shots. A lot of them guys just stood around. They didn't really do too much. And anybody that come to try to defend that, like I said, all I do is take you to videos, and I can show you where you can see the players just standing around. And that's it. And most of that started happening after Mitch Kupchak said that, that the young guys are going to take a backseat to Kobe. Even though we were already losing, but then the motivation, the attitude, all that changed. But when Kobe went out for a while, him and Lou Williams, you can see the excitement came back in them young guys for a while. Even though they only won a couple games, but you can see the excitement in them. And I'm looking at that right there. If anything, you want to judge anything, judge it on them 2 games. Those last 4 or 6 games that we played when Lou Williams and Kobe Bryant were out. Judge it according to those couple games. Then we can have a discussion. Because those games right there show you what they look like. But only thing about it is that they're not going to be under Byron Scott, they're under Luke Walton. And like Anthony Brown said, everybody gets to touch the ball. So with that being said, it's your man Urban Lover. Like, share, subscribe. Get in the comment section and tell me what you think. Do you think Jordan Clarkson is undersized? If not, let me hear your opinion. Take care, be safe, and y'all have a blessed day.